Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. My name is Denise Reichwein-Lees. I'm the Director of Sales with MSC Cruises. And today we are going to take you through our second session of our MSC Groups webinar series for 2022. Today's subject specifically is how to request groups. But first, I want to take you through our schedule of upcoming webinars. This is a 6-part series, and next week we have managing groups. The following week we have making more money through groups. July 5th, we've got onboard functions and requests, and then to close out our series with how to find more groups. So this series, of course, is designed to help you learn about all things MSC Groups. So today specifically, as I mentioned, we are going to go through the process of how you request group space. So we're going to do a live demo, but really quickly, I'll just show you a snapshot and we will take you through the actual steps of logging on to MSC Book and also how to locate the Groups Quotator tool, which allows you to request your groups, view your contracts, basically everything related to requesting that group space. I'm going to go ahead and get logged in so you can see this here. And once we get logged in, I'm going to show you where you can locate the Groups Quotator tool. So now this is the home screen of MSC Book. And if you will notice, there's a few different areas where you can locate groups information. So just really simply across the top here, you see we have quick overview, all promotions, individuals, and group reservations. You could click on group reservations as one option and then access the group quotator by clicking here on the left-hand side of the screen for group quotator. It would take you directly to the tool, okay? Another way to find and access the group quotator, I'm just going to take us back to the home screen real quick here by clicking on the logo at the top left. So we're back now at the home screen. And if you hover over booking, you will notice here on the right-hand column under booking, we have group quotator. So you could click that. So 2 easy ways to access the group quotator, which is where you would request your group space. Now it's very simple. You're going to basically input your group name. So we're going to call this one Denise Test 2. Over here on the right-hand side, you're going to have your group classification. So in our previous webinar, we talked about the different types of groups. So here we have affinity, which is groups that everyone knows one another or has a like interest to one another. That could be family and friends. It could be, a crafters group, Red Hat Society, you name it. Then we have incentive. Of course, those are our MICE groups, so meetings and incentives, conferences and events. If it is a smaller type incentive group, you can block it here. If it is larger and more complex, I would recommend that you reach out to your business development manager or business development specialist to help, to ask them for their help in walking you through the process to put in a request with our groups and revenue team for those more complex or larger incentive type groups. And then last but not least, we have promotional groups here. And that, of course, is very, speculative type business, right? People may not know one another. Maybe it's something you're taking out space and you're going to advertise. So promotional would be that particular classification. So now as we move further down here on the screen, we have the option for destinations. So you'll notice that we list everything here. We have our window of dates of sailing. So from and to. We have embarkation ports, again, all of the ports of embarkation that we offer. Our entire list of ships. If you wanted to sort by duration, so we have 3 different durations here, 1 through 5 nights, 6 through 7 nights, and 8 nights or more. And then last but not least, packaging. So this really applies to other markets, not necessarily ours, where they do bundled pricing. In our case, we don't do that. So really you could just leave this as any to get you started. Now, a lot of times when we're in these search areas, I would say that sometimes less is more. If you know specifically that you're looking for a specific ship on a sail date, and you know for a fact that that's the date that it is, or that's the port that it departs from, or whatever the case may be, you can definitely, narrow in that search so you don't have a very long list of departure dates that come up in your search. However, if you're not precise on that, right, if you put in too tight of parameters, you may not get the search results that you need, and that can become frustrating. So I just want to, point that out. So sometimes less is more, but in this case, I'm going to specifically choose Bermuda, Canada, New England. I'm going to put in a date range here. I know for a fact that this season doesn't start until next year, so I'm going to put in for next summer, like June. You can do a 3-month period, so I'm going to put through to the end of August as an example, so June, July, and August. This will automatically start to filter. So we know that Bermuda, Canada, New England is only from New York. So that's going to start to auto, populate in those drop downs. We know it's only the Maravilla. And, we're offering sailings of multiple durations. So that's going to remain the same. And of course, as I mentioned before, packages, I'm not going to select anything there. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the search button. So now, see, there we go. There's a perfect example where no results are found. Isn't that interesting? So because there's the problem. If you notice, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't change the year, and I had said June 1st of 2023 to August 31st of 2022. So there's a perfect example of where sometimes when we put in parameters, it's not going to give us what we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that date and click the search button again. So it's a perfect example for today's demonstration. So now I'm going to scroll down here, and it's telling me that 2 results are found. Even though there's 4 lines here, it's 2 different sailings. You'll notice August 21st for a 14 night, and then August 21st also for the 6 night. So I just want to point out that we do offer the opportunity to do, of course, consecutive voyages, or what's also known as back-to-back. So what we've done is we've coupled the 8 night with the 6 night to create the 14 night itinerary here. So that's what you're seeing. So a few things I want to point out. We've got, of course, our embarkation date here in the first column, the ship, the itinerary, which you can hover over the eye or click on the eye, and it should open up the itinerary for you. And you'll see here it's going to give me the full map. Then, of course, we have the destination column. So this is NOA. In our world, that means North America. Duration, number of nights. Embarkation port, of course, is New York in this case. Debarkation, also New York. Our packages that are being offered. So what this means ultimately is the little ship icon means it's cruise, meaning the cruise is included, obviously. And then the little cocktail indicates that there are packages, there's packages involved on this. So it's going to give you, for example, drinks and Wi-Fi. So you have the option of cruise only or with a package attached, okay? Then, of course, we have our promo column. In this case, there's nothing being offered there. And then we have the price column. So this is the starting lead-in price for these sailings. And I'll show you how to look at all of the pricing in just a moment. But this, again, is the lead-in. And then this column here is the already requested column. What that means is these sailings already have space secured as a group. So this is a perfect example so that you can see, oh, under my agency, someone already has 8 staterooms that they have secured on this particular sailing. Let me find out who that is. Let me see if I can book into their group, or if it's a closed group, right, and more of a private or type affinity type group that you can't have, people in it that aren't part of that particular group, for example. this would be an indication that, you know, you may not do that, but you at least know that there's already space held on that sailing. So that's very helpful. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the 14 night just so that we have a different opportunity here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on the price point at $12.19. This is going to now take me into the sailing. And we'll just give that a second to load and refresh. So now we're into the sailing and we can start to look at the group pricing. But first, I want to show you the details on this page so that you understand fully what is here for you. So we don't have a group number yet, obviously, because we're in the requesting process, but we have our group name. It's telling me that once this quote goes through, it would expire on August 4th. This is a cruise only package and it's promotional. So if it was with drinks and Wi-Fi, it would reference it here, okay? It shows me the itinerary with the full details and the map. I have the option that I could collapse that if I wanted to shorten the page, okay? I move further down and we get into the actual requesting portion of the page. So the system is asking me how many staterooms are needed for the group. Now, this is a required field. So what they would like to know is how many rooms, you know, in total do I want for my group? So in this case, I'm going to say 16. Okay. And I'm going to then click on submit. What's going to happen now is the system is going to return the actual availability based on double occupancy for each category that is open to groups on the sailing, okay? So right now, I'm going to be looking for 16 staterooms. It's telling me that I have 0 assigned, and the total rate, again, is going, so I'll scroll up a little bit here so this shows better for you. I apologize. That bubble's a little large. So this total rate is going to calculate as I start to select my cabins to give me an overall sum for all of the staterooms based on double occupancy, okay? So I can gauge the total revenue of the group, if you will. So I'm going to go ahead and explain each column first before we go into actually selecting the rooms. So we have our category codes here on the left. We have our description of those rooms. This is going to be the column in which I start to select staterooms, and I'm going to show that to you in just a moment. So our double rates are referenced here directly next to the availability, or I should say the allocation that I'm going to select. So these are our double rates here. And you're going to see our 3rd and 4th passenger rate based on adults. So 3rd passenger adult rate, 4th passenger adult rate. Then we have 3rd and 4th passenger rates based on children ages 12 through 17. So 3rd and 4th. And 3rd and 4th rates for junior children ages 2 to 11. Again, 3rd and 4th. We have our taxes and fees listed separately here for this voyage. And we have our NCFs. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this example I'm using today is an 8-night coupled with a 6-night for a total of 14 nights. So that's why the taxes and fees and the NCFs are so high in this example, okay? Keep in mind that all rates that you're referencing here are cruise only, they're per person, and they include they do not include, they do not include the NCFs and the taxes, which is why we have them referenced here on the right-hand side. Remember, everything is based on double occupancy, and taxes and fees are per person listed here as well, okay? And we're going to go ahead now, and I'm going to take you through how we look at each category separately and how you secure the space. So as an example, remember that our interior Bellas, anything that's a Bella experience, so interior Bella, ocean view Bella, balcony Bella, those are all guarantees. So that means ultimately you will not be able to assign an actual stateroom number for your guest if you request anything with a Bella experience attached to it. So if you want your group to actually have cabin assignments in advance, you need to be selecting categories other than Bella, okay? So that we're clear on that. So I'm going to actually request cabins in the least expensive categories that would allow for assignments. So in this case, I'm going to request cabins in deluxe interior. So I'm going to click on the drop down here, and it's going to show me that I could request anywhere from 1 to 19 currently in this category. Now, I will be very honest with you. We do have certain inventory guidelines where if you were to request all 16 in this particular category for interiors, chances are that could delay the contract from being confirmed for us, okay? Because normally we would prefer that inventory is spread out a bit. Anytime that you need something out of the norm for your inventory, my recommendation is to contact your sales representative and have that conversation first so that we can determine what's the best way. But when it's just a standard type of request, so in this case, I'm going to ask for 2 in that particular category, okay? So I'm asking for 2 IR2, which is deluxe interior. I'm going to then ask for 2 OR1s. And you're noticing, once it refreshes here, you're noticing that this total rate area is starting to calculate for me based on the number of rooms I'm choosing and in which category. I'm now going to request 6 BR2s as an example. Also, I want to point out here that it's showing me that I've already asked for 10 assigned staterooms here out of my 16, right? So, and also it's totaling down here for you. You can see 10. So it continues to also total up our rate here as well for us. So I still need to select 6 more. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ask for 4 more in a balcony aria, which has me at 14, and now I still need 2 more. I'm going to take the premium balcony with ocean view. I can get 1 there. So you noticed it's only letting me do 1 there. It's limiting me. So I still need 1 more. So I think I'm going to increase my deluxe balconies by 1 and bring that up to 7. So now I have a total of 16 rooms. My total group value is just shy of $68,000, you see here, also referenced here up above. So that gives me a sense of really the total revenue for this group if I were to sell all of that space, okay? One thing I do want to point out, the yacht club, it's listed here, but you notice it's grayed out because we do not normally allow yacht club space to be blocked in groups. You can do a yacht club group booking, but that's considered a non-standard group. And that would have to be something you would reach out to your sales representative, and we would put that request through to our revenue department and get that secured for you. Anytime you go outside of the standard inventory type guidelines, it's considered a non-standard group. Similar to where I said, if you needed all of your staterooms in one category, that's considered a non-standard group. We can definitely do it, but it has to go through a different request process. If you needed yacht club staterooms, or if you maybe booked 1, that could of course get pulled into the group as well. But I just wanted to point out why this is grayed out here, okay? So now we're going to move further down, and we're going to see here that this particular sailing has a total of 8 amenity points being offered on it. You have the ability now to request all of your amenities also when you are requesting your groups, which is wonderful. We do want you to request your amenities at the time your group is created. They can be changed one time prior to final payment, and once inside of final, they cannot be changed. Okay, so it is ideal that you make your point selection up front and tell us exactly what you'd like to use them for. So you would simply go through your choices here. So you can see here we've got bonus, commission on this first row here. Then we've got some stateroom amenities like chocolate covered strawberries. We've got cocktail parties, as well as other, amenities to the stateroom like fruit, waiver of group deposit if necessary for larger groups, marketing funds. So that would be co-op and marketing funds directly to your agency. Then, of course, we've got shipboard credits for your guest, and ultimately sparkling wine, chocolate covered strawberries, again with spumani, and then a reduced TC policy also as an option here. So you would select the amenity that best applies to your group or your agency's needs. So in this case, I've got 8 points. I'm going to actually split this down the middle, and I'm going to say, well, we're going to take a bonus commission for the agency. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you can click on more detail here to see more information about the amenity. And then I'm going to scroll down further, and I'm going to actually choose a $50 shipboard credit for the guest. So I'm going to click on that and select one. I'm going to scroll back up and show you now that this is going to show us that we had 8 points and we have selected for 8 points. Each time you select, it's going to calculate the total and you've used them all. Okay. So now I'm going to scroll back down further, and we're going to come into the area where we need to collect some additional information from you. Agency contact. So if you were doing this on behalf of somebody in your office, you could backspace this out and put a different name here if you needed. And also same with the email address. If you wanted it to go to a different email address than what's on your profile, you can back this out as well and change that, okay? But I'm going to leave it as it is right now. We do need to know what your preference is for dining. This is a required field, so late or early as an example. And then any additional information that you want to share with us regarding your group. For example, I'm going to say here that group will be adding prepaid service charges. Some characters there. So overcharge, for those of you that are not familiar, you have the ability to add on over and above the normal cruise fare per person for third-party charges that you are bundling into your group. So in a case like this, I was saying that we were going to do an overcharge for a local motor coach. So for example, not airport transfers, right? So let's be clear, third party. Airport transfers would be something that we would do as an additional add-on with the services that we offer. But in a case like local motor coach, say that your agency is in upstate New York as an example, and they're going to go into Manhattan or Brooklyn in this case to take this cruise, you might want to add on local bus transportation where you're chartering a motor coach for your group, and they're all going to be paying for their seat on that motor coach. You want to add that into the cost of the trip and bundle it. We do allow that. There is a form that you have to complete, and that's something that the groups department can assist you with, but that is what we call an overcharge. So just a little bit of additional information for you. So now that we've completed everything, we're going to go ahead and hit the submit button. So this is going to summarize everything we've done now, okay? So we're going to see here that this is Denise Test Group. Again, this quote's going to expire August 4th. It's cruise only. It's a promotional type group. I've selected late dining for 16 staterooms. The total rate is, again, just shy of $68,000. In this case, it's showing that we created this today. It's showing my commission rate at 13% as an example. The contact name, contact email address, and then the additional comments that I had put in. Again, we have the full itinerary. Again, you can collapse that or expand it as you need. Further down, we have the allocation that I have requested. Okay, so we can see here again, 2 IR2s, 2 OR1s, 7 BR2s, 1 BL2, and 4 BA. That gives me my total inventory. Also, it shows me the amenities that I have requested here. Again, the bonus commission for $50 per cabin and the $50 shipboard credit per cabin with 4 amenity points. And then the full disclaimer, which just is a breakdown about all of our group pricing, requesting singles, triples, and quads, which can be done, but they're based on a request basis only. Also tells you about how we calculate single rates, and also the pricing, guarantee. So now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead. This summary is correct. I'm going to go ahead and hit request. If there was something I needed to change, I could hit the back button and go through and make those edits and then go ahead and move forward again. So I'm going to go ahead and hit request. But now I'm going to scroll up. So I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, when in doubt, scroll up or down, because if the screen stays gray like this, you're thinking it's still working. But in a case like this, it's telling me that even though it says warning, it's telling me created successfully and my request number. So I'm going to go ahead and hit close. I'm going to scroll back down. This is where it gets a little confusing for a moment, okay? So we have to go through a few different steps to complete this, right? So right now we're seeing here at the top that this is quoted, not confirmed yet. And this has my request number. If I were to stop here, that would mean that the groups department would have to intervene to get this confirmed for me. But as we mentioned at the beginning, we want to make sure that you can get instant confirmation for your group space. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll back down, and I'm going to go ahead and click on confirm quote. Now, you do have other options from this point. If you don't hit confirm quote, you could also download the PDF, but remember, the PDF you're going to be downloading is going to show this as a request only, not a confirmed group. Very important that you understand the difference. You can print this screen if you wanted to send this information over to a client if you'd like, or you could hit delete quote because maybe you've changed your mind. But I'm going to go ahead and show you that we need to confirm the quote now. We need to make it an actual live group. So I'm going to hit confirm quote. Now again, remember the screen is grayed out and I'm scrolling up because I want to make sure that we see, you saw that little flash on the screen. So now it's telling me the group has been created and the group number here is referenced as 443443. I'm going to hit close and I'm going to scroll back up and show you the difference now. Okay. Now it's still showing request, but I'm going to now do one other thing very quickly. I'm going to hit download PDF. And you're going to see that happen here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen once the system reacts. Okay, just give that a moment. It is thinking. You see here where it says loading. So give that just a moment. Once that happens, you have the ability to open the PDF. Okay, for sake of time, I'm going to show you another request that I had created. Okay. So now this shows me here, once I open that PDF, once it's downloaded, and it shows me my group sales contract with my group number, okay? This is actually a live group. It gives me a number. It's no longer a request with that REQ in front of it, okay? And of course, it shows us everything about our group, all right? This was a little bit of a different one that I created, but this shows me easy package and Wi-Fi promo. It shows me, see, there's my download now in the bottom left-hand corner. It opened up for us. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll open the one that I created. So here we are. This is now the 14 night that we just did. So here's my group, issue date. It shows me everything, agency information, my group name, the ship, the itinerary, departure date. I'm going to scroll down because I want to show you a few things. We, of course, have all of the payment information and review dates. We have our allocation of staterooms, similar to the display that was in MSC Book. And then of course it shows me the point selection of what I chose for my amenity points, okay? The contract goes through all of the same stipulations that we saw in MSC Book. And further through, it's a 6-page contract. You're going to see here, it reviews my itinerary. It goes into other information, our group terms related to rates, pricing, cabin assignments, space review, final payment deadlines, name changes, onboard function requests, cancellation policy, dining information, and of course, documentation information, as well as shore excursions and pre and post package and travel insurance. So you can, of course, download this and save this on your computer. You can print it. That way you can email it, do whatever you like with your contract, okay? So real quickly, I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to show you a few other things very, very quickly. How do you find your existing groups really quickly, right? And we're going to go over that also in managing groups, but I just wanted to take you there really quickly. I'm going to go here to group booking. This is going to load all of your groups that you have in the system, okay? So this way you can see exactly what groups you've booked. So again, that was under group booking. And then we can actually pull up the group. So for example, this was the one I just did. I would click on open and it's going to open my group live in the system. So next week, we're going to review managing groups. Make sure you join us. You're going to know how to pull up and view your groups, book staterooms within your groups, assign staterooms, make payments, add ancillary items, and things of that nature so that life is much easier for you and you can manage your group space easily through MSC Book. So real quickly, I want to review some of the resources that are available to you. Make sure, I know we've gone over a lot of information, but make sure you take a screenshot of this particular slide because this gives you the phone number and email addresses that are very important when it comes to booking groups with us. So, you know, really and truly, your number one resource is your MSC Cruises sales representative. You know, we can help you find that new group business. We can help you get those new groups booked. We can present out to your groups. Also, whether it's a booked group that, you know, you're trying to fill that space or a potential group opportunity. And of course, we can always provide marketing suggestions and assistance to help you make that business stick and come to fruition. Important email addresses here are sales service department, who is there to assist along with your sales representative. And of course, the email address for the groups department, which is mscgroupsadvocates@msccruisesusa.com. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you. And where do you really start? It's with your sales representative. If you're not sure who that is, you can go to mscbook.com, go under my profile and find a rep, and you'll be able to locate your sales representative. We're here to help you grow your business. We want to do everything we can. And make sure you join us for the remaining sessions, managing groups, making more money through groups, onboard functions and requests, and how to find more groups. We want to make sure that you are up to date on everything and you are armed and ready to go out and capture that group business. So thank you again for joining us. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned a lot. And you'll be able to now block that group space the minute you get that opportunity, look at those rates, check out the points, and get everything confirmed and booked with MSC Cruises. Again, thank you for your time. Thank you again for everything you do. We appreciate your support. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.